Thanks for stopping by, hon. Okay, I'm going to get into ley lines a little bit so we can kind of get a handle on it a little bit. Ley lines, they're an apparent alignment of landforms, places of ancient religious significance or culture, including man-made structures. They are ancient, straight paths or routes in the landscape, which are believed to have spiritual significance. I wish you could too. But that's okay. I understand. Actually, ley lines was coined in 1921 by British amateur archaeologist Alfred Watkins, referring to alignments of numerous places of geographical and historical interest, such as the ancient monuments and megaliths, natural ridge tops, and waterfords. He has a book called Early British Trackways, and the Old Straight Track, which is definitely worth a see. He sought to identify the ancient trackways in the British landscape, and he later developed theories that these alignments were created for ease of overland travel by line of sight navigation. And these have persisted in the landscape over millennia. The View Over Atlantis in 1969 by John Mitchell revived the term ley lines, associating it with spiritual and mystical theories about alignments of landforms. It kind of draws on the concept of the Chinese Feng Shui. He believed that a mystical network of ley lines existed across Britain, which they do. A notion actively promoted in Britain. The ley line hypothesis is a type of pseudoscience, okay? It's a random distribution of a sufficient number of points on a plane and will create alignments. And some examples of that, St. Anne's Well is the start of a ley line that passes along Malvern Hills through several springs. This is in Britain. There you could look up the ley lines in the Ley Line Hunter's Companion by Paul Devereaux. City of Revelation by John Mitchell. Relevant to the ley line argument is the existence of curses. Oh, why thank you. Thank you very much. I don't know. Hope you understand it. But anyway, the existence of curses. They're massive parallel imprints in the ground made by people between 3,400 and 3,000 BC. Now there you go. See, that things like this have existed like forever, okay? Ranging in length, their exact function, they are commonly believed to have been used for ceremonial processions. Many of them do encompass Neolithic graves and monuments. While some are relatively straight, some have curves and sharp turns. John Mitchell is the one you need to look up about these ley lines. So it's kind of, I always thought of them as spiritual points that lead to, like Stonehenge, where ley lines converge, okay? And that's what makes it powerful. So, there's a lot of also look up Earth Mysteries. Okay, I played one called Beyond the Veil by Lindsey Sterling. Do you believe in veils? Some say the veils are thinning in places in the universe. Could that be a possibility of people who have premonitions or can supposedly see into the future? Can they see through that thin veil? Oh, thank you so much. I try. Sometimes I don't know if I think what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? But as long as you understand it, we're all good. Why, thank you. Thank you guys so much. Veils. Do you believe veils exist? As far as I attribute to that maybe people who can see into the future. Oh, thank you, Valerie, so much. Or have premonitions. Can they see through that veil? Let's see. They call it the thinning of the veils. Do you believe in the veils? Let's see. Like the veil between... okay. And they're saying that the veil is thin, and it's sometimes the spirits who come out when the veil is thinning and create phenomenon just want to be noticed. A spirit does not have to be earthbound to reach out into the physical world. When the veils are thin, as they are right now, is a veil between the worlds thin? Is it thinning? It could be. It has to do with magic and metaphysics, of course. But you probably heard it a million times. And you know, the veil is a thing, And the realm of magic is something we understand through symbolism, emotion, and vibrations. It's important to remember that we never quite understand it all, of course. The divine magical realm is always a mysterious thing. By its very definition, it resides just outside our everyday consciousness. That doesn't mean we can't have a familiar working relationship with magic and the mysterious, or that we can't draw upon it to create positive change. We absolutely can. Through things like ritual, communing with nature, and meditation to tap into the magical realm. When we do this, we remember that while we appear separate, we are in fact one with each other and with all that is. Additionally, things that appear like cold, hard reality in everyday consciousness, such as separation of life and death, seen and unseen, known and unknown, are quite off, as well as the linear and finite nature of time are revealed to be illusions. It's the ethereal curtain between the everyday illusion of separation and the divine truth of eternity. So, when they say the veil is thinning, the separation between the worlds, it could be, between the spiritual world and our world is thinning. So, we talked about veils a little bit. I think that's where we get the people who can basically see into the future, maybe, or can commune with the dead, or, maybe premonitions like that. So I just wanted to touch on that since it was kind of brought up in one of the conversation. So let's get to the other dimensions. Ooh. Apparently, physicists say they outline 10 different dimensions and how you'd experience them. So interesting. I believe there are other dimensions, but I believe in portholes, of course. I believe there are other universes, and I love Stephen Hawking's premises on that, is that once you go into a portal or a black hole, that you can't come back the same way, okay? And that there's a back door to these black holes or portals. You can go to other universes. And then maybe eventually come back to where you started. Who knows? Other dimensions. Does this theory, get your mind going? Mathematically, it holds up. And aspects about it suggest not one, but several different dimensions. One we're not generally privy to, though we may be interacting with some of them all the time, and we're completely unaware of it. And if this is true, what would these dimensions look like, and how do they affect us? Superstring theory, one of the leading theories today, explain the nature of our universe, contends that there are 10 dimensions. That's 9 of space and 1 of time. So, again, that goes into, it explains pretty well how subatomic particles behave. This is more scientific, so let's go to the, I'm going to jump to the, a theory of astronomer and mathematician Bernard Carr, that many of the phenomena we experience but cannot explain within the physical laws of this dimension actually occur in other dimensions. Now, Albert Einstein comes into play here, and he stated there are at least 4 dimensions. The 4th dimension is time or space-time. Since Einstein said space and time cannot be separated, in modern physics, of course, the existence up to 11 dimensions and the possibility of more are out there. Carr says our consciousness interacts with another dimension. And furthermore, the multidimensional universe has a hierarchy structure, and we are at the lowest level. What a surprise. Yeah, it is deep. I'm trying to explain it more in lay terms for you. Like I said, our consciousness interacts with another dimension, and the multidimensional universe he envisioned has a hierarchy structure, and we are at the lowest level. Well, there's a big surprise, right? The model resolves well-known problems concerning the relationship between matter and mind. And it provides a framework for the interpretation of phenomena such as out-of-body experiences, near-death experiences, and dreams. Okay? Carr reasons that our physical sensors only show us a 3-dimensional universe, though there are actually 4. What exists in the higher dimensions are entities we cannot touch with our physical sensors. Okay. He said that such entities still have a type of space to exist in. The existence of paranormal phenomena suggests that mental entities have to exist in some sort of space. The other dimensional space we enter in dreams overlaps with the space where memory exists, okay? Carr says telepathy signals a communal mental space, and clairvoyance also contains a physical space. Okay. The M theory, there are 11 dimensions. Okay. Einstein's relativity theory and a 6 or 7 dimensional space. So that gets a little deep.